help with, I work a lot with kind of the root issues in the gut. So I get to help people with every autoimmune issue, allergies, and then the hormone issues. So your menopause and even the hormone issues of teenagers to the hormone issues of older ladies. It's just been very exciting to learn how it's all connected in the gut, and then I work with helping stabilize blood sugar through a natural product that I partnered with. So we kind of stabilize the blood sugar, which of course insulin's your master hormone, and so then you're affecting all the other hormone issues in your body. And then we deal with huge with inflammation,
Mhm.
even down to a cellular level in your body. And we deal with gut health, getting to the root issue of the leaky gut. So we deal with a special product that helps get to that candida fungus overgrowth in the gut. So it has been something I discovered along the way. I'm partnered with a product brand too that has just been transformational all the way around. And yeah, it's just been really exciting to have something simple to help every demographics, literally every demographics from infant to seniors going into the care home. It's been so incredible. So yeah, what questions do you
That is
what
like a
else did I
really
explain?
that's a really broad spectrum there that's, from little people right
It's
up
just
to
it's
elderly.
amazing.
Yeah, that is
Hmm.
amazing. And I mean, we all have guts. So, right? Yeah, trying to get
It's
the
so true.
the right balance of things in there is important for sure. So
Yeah.
how did you get on this journey? Like, how did you decide that you wanted to help people with their guts?
Yeah, we farm, and so I was starting to live on Claritin more with allergies. And then my daughter at the time, she was 14 and she was really breaking out with it with eczema, and she was starting to pop the Claritin all day long too, to work with the cattle and to, do the haying and stuff. I was like, oh, and then she was complaining of stomach issues, and I was like, oh no. I mean, it's one thing for me, I'm older, lived a good life. I can pop I can pop the pills and, it's not good for your liver. I know that. I get all that. But whatever. But when she started needing to do it every day, I was like, "Oh no, we got to find something to help. What's going on?" So we went to a naturopath and then realized after a couple of $1,000 that we were not going to be able to afford to get well if that's what this meant.
Right.
So, uh, tried all the elimination stuff. You do the whole gamut. You'll do anything for your kids, right? And then I had a friend tell me, they said, "You know what? For allergies and stuff, I'm using this product that has got me off my sleep apnea machine, that has just brought all my energy back and all this stuff." And it's like, it was helping clear out my one friend's psoriasis all over. And so I was like, no, no, thank you. After the nature path bill, after a couple times, I was like, what was it you were telling me about again? So anyway, so got started there. We were a couple months in, and my daughter was like, "Oh, mom." We were clipping cattle for a show that summer, and yeah, she was 14. And she said, "Oh, mom, I hope you can always afford this stuff. I never realized how bad I felt till I feel so much better." I
Oh,
was like, "Oh my gosh." I mean, she was taking it because I told her to, or I mixed it for her, whatever, right?
right.
And then my husband had really bad adrenal fatigue. He would fall asleep on the tractor and just was
Oh
like,
no.
so I was like, okay, here, honey, just try this and take this all natural energy drink that we have, take it with you in the tractor. He fell in love with it too. It helped. That's slower when you're dealing with adrenals and those kinds of things. Of course, it's a slower healing process, but over time, huge transformation there too. And then I noticed quite a few things. My nasal drip cleared up and plantar's warts and just all these little things. I had energy. I wasn't, had started looking for a nap every day. I was like, what is wrong? So I think it's just an accumulation we let build up. So then I was like, what else can this help with? This is cool. So I started really delving into the science of it, fell in love with the gut connection to literally everything. And started shared with a couple people and then watched their life change. And I was like, now I can get into this. So
Like,
yeah, and then it's just become a real passion for me to be able to help others and coach others along the way.
yeah, that's awesome
Yeah.
because yeah, sometimes we don't know that we feel so bad, right? We just, because it goes slowly and we're degrading, we don't realize that we're,
Yeah,
getting sluggish, and our eating habits are terrible and all the things, because life is
exactly.
always
Exactly.
lifing us. We're always getting stressed out, and we're busy and things. So yeah,
Yeah.
to have that realization, right? And it must have been something when your daughter said, I can't believe how much better I feel.
Yeah. It just, yeah, it stayed in I was like, what a way to put it. It's perfect. It's so true. So true.
It
So
is
yeah.
true.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's been
you're
very fun.
so you've been doing it for how long, did you say?
8 years.
Oh yeah, that's quite a while. That's
I, I know. I know. And there's other things people come along and of course I recommend lots of things. There's always the good CBD oils and just there's just so many tools for a toolbox, but this specific one I really focus on because it gets to the root and then you can bunker it up with other things, of course, along the way. And but I just love having something so simple to help
right.
get to the root of the struggles. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So
And all the mental health
oh,
too.
mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, you hear stories and they'll have moms come back and go, "Oh my gosh." Like I mean, yeah, that's huge to be able to help people get off antidepressants that just dull you, um, is so exciting, really
It's
exciting.
exciting. Yeah, it is exciting, especially when you know you're doing something good for other people. It makes you feel good, right? Especially when you can stand behind something that's, you know,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's important. Um, you
Super, yeah.
mentioned about leaky gut. A lot of people I don't think know what that means. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so I love to absorb it from a lot of scientists and doctors, and then I kind of mental picture just a very simple simple explanation. So a health professional would, of course, laugh at this. This is how I picture it. A lot of times we've got a little bit of that. Um, we're all created with a little bit of that candida fungus in the gut, and that's what breaks us down when we die. It puts us back to dust. So it's very useful. It's very important. It also eats up dead debris in our colon.
Mm.
But what happens is every time we take an antibiotic or we have to do, if you got to do steroids for asthma and all these things, or every time we eat a lot of sugar, we don't eat enough to combat the bad stuff. Every time we do that, which of course for all of us is going to be a lot of times in our life, then that enables that bad fungus to proliferate in our gut
Mm.
and colonize. And it is always looking to grow and colonize. And it's very sticky. So it likes to stick together and it's insatiable. It wants to be fed. Of course, what feeds it is sugars and carbs. So it's craving that constantly. And so, and then it attaches to the kind of the ball, how I picture when it's explained. It likes to colonize, grow into little uh, groups there, and then stick to the side of our bowel walls,
Oh,
which then starts to eat into those very fine linings, and it starts to screw up the side of the bowel and the colon. And when it does that, the leaky gut aspect, then it's how I picture it is kind of like perforating little minuscule microscopic holes, which then as the bloodstream rushes by our colon walls, it's starting to see all this material it's not meant to even notice because it's supposed to just be absorbing nutrients, not protein particles and stuff that's leaking through from the perforations. Probably a silly way to explain it. I don't know. Anyways,
no.
that's how I picture it in my mind.
It
Then it's
makes it be
freaking
visual.
yeah, your bloodstream's kind of freaking out, and then it generates that immune response. And so then whatever your body has a propensity to um, have a problem with anyways, it's going to exacerbate that. So for a lot of people, it could be your joints. That's where the blood goes by and goes, oh my gosh, something, we got to eat those joints. That's so then joints, lungs for asthma, lupus. I've got lots of lupus testimonials. That's a, yeah, I don't know why that's becoming more and more of a thing. Fibromyalgia, MS. So when it starts to attack the myelin sheath, it's incredible how it all comes back down to something happening in the gut. And so we're able to come along and say, okay, let's start breaking down that bad fungus. Let's bring down the inflammation, because of course by then there's so much inflammation. And then you can start putting in good stuff. So a lot of people, they'll go, and you can go to the health food store and grab like amazing probiotics or whatever, and then throw that on top of this gut that has so much dysbiosis. You're just going to feed the bad stuff too. So I think that's one thing that really sets apart part of the program I found, is that it starts to be able to root out the bad stuff first, and then we'll be able to handle the good stuff while it's working on inflammation and while it's working on stabilizing blood sugar, so that our bodies aren't doing this all day long and affecting all of the hormones there. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it does make sense. Yeah, it makes
That explains
perfect sense to me.
kind of explains Candida fungus. It's kind of, I guess, what I really started to delve into studying. And how does this affect literally everything? I mean, you're talking the efficiency of the gut affects your blood pressure.
Mm,
It affects your cholesterol, which of course that's, this whole cholesterol scare is
yeah,
proving to not be quite what it was made out to be. But all those numbers get affected. Thyroid, Hashimoto's, all those things, the efficiency of all that is happening in the gut. And then your serotonin, your melatonin, all of those chemicals that your brain needs, your happiness, for all of that, that's made in the gut. But what happens when the leaky gut happens, another way I picture it, is the signals have to come from the gut lining, the enteric system, like the brain of the gut. They come from the gut lining to the brain. And then the brain senses, okay, getting a little low on serotonin, I'm going to have that gut make more. But when all of those perforations have happened, you're screwing up the signals. The brain's not getting the lead to tell the stomach or the bowel lining, or that part of the bowel, to make more of that melatonin, your serotonin, all those things. So now then you're supplementing with synthetic.
right.
So then to see all of that be able to kind of start coming back into place is huge. Yeah, and then for people to be able to help to slowly get off their metformin and stuff, because that all has the side effects, for your hormone issues, your diabetes, all those things. So it's really exciting to have a natural way for your body to help your body heal. I mean, you could be very severe and do nothing but broth for 2 years and not cheat one day, and your body can heal. But that's just not that's not feasible for a lot of us.
No,
So
it's not really realistic, is it? Not in
it's
not in
I've
today's
met people
world.
that have done it. They're like nothing but bone broth and healing stuff, and never missed a day. So I'm like, good for you. You've cured 10 autoimmune diseases. So, and that's super awesome. It's just,
That is awesome. So it sounds like it must help with sleeping too then.
yeah. Yeah. Usually people notice within the first week or so, their sleep is affected. Then the cravings, see, then your cravings change. That's what I really love. So people that have just struggled their whole life just with that sheer willpower. No, I won't have that donut. No, I won't drink that Coke or whatever, right? And there's a lot of Coke addictions.
Right.
And I mean pop,
Pop
soda.
soda.
I mean, there's the other one too.
But yes, the other one also, but that's a different story.
I do. I have some people that have come off of meth and all those things, and just the cravings, all of those cravings change. And because you're not, that fungus in the gut that I said was insatiable, it's always wanting that bag of chips, or it's got to have that cake, or it's got to have that chocolate, or it's got to be fed. And when you start killing that off, then all of those people were like, oh my gosh, for the first time in my life, first I wanted water. I've never craved water. So
Oh,
now your body's starting to want to drink water. And then they're like, I walked by the cake and I didn't even want a piece. Like nothing in me wanted it, because the cravings are changed. So I love that kind of support, because so many of us just, it's been sheer willpower, and then you fight it, 20 years, 30, you're just like,
yeah.
no,
And then all
I
the
just crave it.
well, the
So,
shame and guilt that goes along with that too, right? Like it's
yeah.
yeah, it makes you feel bad and then creates more bad chemistry.
Exactly, exactly. So even smoking and things like that, there you don't realize how much sugar is in a cigarette and all those things. So you
Interesting.
can, yeah. So even just to come along and support people that are trying to break from food addictions or whatever kind of addictions, it's a big brain gut component for all of it, right? So
Yeah, totally it
it's
is.
been super fun, so rewarding. I would never have imagined it 10 years ago.
So if somebody was going to come to you today, let's say I
Mhm.
called you up and said, Rebecca, can you help me? I got all these things, and you'd say yes. And then what else would you do? Like what would happen next?
Well, I like to see what all they've tried first. Because I don't want to just assume then see, usually I haven't found too many allergies to any of our things. But then I would say, well, let's start with, I've got what we call a triplex, which is three things that work together so well because it hits the inflammation right off the bat, it hits the blood sugar, and then it hits the gut health. So it's working on those three things right away together. Um, if somebody comes with a lot of pain, like arthritis, fibromyalgia, those things, we have an all natural anti inflammatory. The
Oh,
story behind that is really cool. I would add that in if they're able to, and then start working with them on how much water they drink. And if sleep is a big issue, we have the most amazing sleep gummies now that we just came out with.
oh,
They've
nice.
got the tryptophan in them, the melatonin, and the ashwagandha that just helps
Yeah.
settle the stressors in the brain. That those have been a real game changer. So just depending, but if somebody wants to start super simple, then I would have them start on our triplex, which is a drink that hits the gut and hits the blood sugar and it supports the pancreas. And so then, and also has the alpha lipoic acid in it, starts to work on all that inflammation. And then you just start noticing uh, just a steady increase in energy. Nothing, there's no caffeine. It's not a caffeine spike, nothing like that. It just kind of usually within a few days, people are like, whoa, wow, I'm feeling better because your whole body's able to just finally kind of relax and start to heal. And then along with that, then this special probiotic, but it's more the enzyme in it that starts to attack that candida fungus, break down the shell around that that fungus in the gut. You take it at bedtime on an empty stomach. So that's different there too. And then also what we call our BioCleanse, um, that I would take just in the morning, one or two with the drink. And then what that does is it kind of makes sure that the die off from that special probiotic that has that enzyme in it, make sure that it doesn't sit in the colon because
Mm,
that candida fungus is very, very, very toxic when it dies. It's got like 80 mycotoxins it releases. So
ugh,
it's very, you want to make sure it doesn't sit in your colon. If somebody has constipation, I would work with how many to take to make sure that they're having a bowel movement every day. So there's just a lot of, it's very customizable. So it's definitely a product you want to work with somebody with and not just like, oh, I'll go
right.
grab a bunch of that. You're gonna love it. I mean, you will, and a lot of people might be fine, but some people you don't want to go into detox. You don't want to get discouraged because your body's going, I can dump all these toxins from this the the visceral fat that I'm holding on to, right? So anyway, so it's nice to be able to work with and coach through this, from the start. And then there's a few other things. We've got an all natural energy drink and a few other things to support. We have a reset right now, or we have a reset now that's just been a total game changer, and it's a 3-day um, reset that resets your metabolism and then does a liver cleanse with a
Oh,
special drink at night. It is so awesome. And you're doing 8 things through the day. So you're not ravenous. You're actually getting 60 grams of protein. So it's not a fast like you're starving, but it's very strategically paced out. So that's been really, really fun to introduce to people, even that have maybe plateaued or just want that extra kick. Or now we can, right out of the gate, when somebody's starting the gut health products, I'm like, hey, start with a reset, get your body into it. and then keep going with the triplex and just keep that trajectory going. So yeah, there's lots of options depending what somebody's struggling with.
Oh,
And we have a special probiotic that would be for somebody with struggling with depression or anxiety. Huge, huge. I've got quite a few people. If they take a couple of those a day, they're able to stay off all their meds.
wow, eh?
Just, yeah, just the special combination they're using in it. It's really cool. And it's just a really potent special blend of probiotics. So we call it our happy pill. So
Happy pills are good as long as they're natural,
all natural happy pill.
right?